My dreams of becoming an e-girl have been squandered.
Squandered?
Yes. And the reason I'm saying that is because we will be talking about the latest developments in, I do believe, the ever so elegant term, the Twitch thought meta, as they are describing it nowadays. But unfortunately, Dennis, due to some recent medical issues, I have discovered that I am never going to be able to be an e-girl. I'm never going to be able to capitalize off of the men's loneliness epidemic and just take on that simp money, piling it onto me, which truly, their fault. Not talking about that today. And you want to know why, Dennis?
Why?
Probably can't see it, but take a look at my head.
It's white.
No, you see this little spot right here? That little redness? Right where I'm pointing at my finger? You could probably see it a little, right?
Yeah, and this potato-ass camera quality.
That's been on my head for a month and a half.
What is it?
Thought it was a zit. It's not.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's a fucking cyst!
Huh?
I am 27!
Wait. Aren't cysts like super pimples?
Basically, yeah. It's like, can form a super pimple! No, basically, yes. It causes from, like, some sort of ingrown hair. My grandfather has had them, like, early on. Like, my father told me, it's like, hey, you can blame your grandfather for that. I'm like, I'm not gonna blame my dead abuelito, God rest his soul. But, like...
I do blame my family tree, though.
Oh, absolutely. A fucking cyst. Right on my forehead. Of all fucking places for it to be. I was noticing it wasn't going away. And I'm gonna gross out the audience real quick. I tried to pop it because I thought it was a zit. I couldn't pop it. And then this disgusting excrement started to unfold from it, and it smelled like fucking dick cheese. I'm not gonna hold you. And it looks like dick cheese too.
Oh no.
So those of you with weaker constitutions about to turn off the podcast, first of all, please don't. Second of all...
Also, we apologize. We apologize.
I ain't sorry for shit.
That was TMI.
Because I have to vent right now. I ain't sorry for shit. Because I'm fucking 27. Literally the only... No, because, and the reason I'm pissed about it is because literally the only thing I can possibly do about it, there's no creams. There's no ointments. There's nothing to put on it. I have to have it professionally cut by a plastic surgeon.
Yep.
He's gonna stick a needle in my forehead and, like, drain that shit out. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna be laying down. It's gonna be looking like I'm being probed through the eye. This is really disturbing, like, alien horror movie I saw once of an alien abduction where, like, they were not probing the guy yet, but, like, they were doing some fucked up shit to him where, like, he's just screaming and shit, and then they put this goo in his mouth, which was basically this shut the fuck up juice, and it made him stop. Then they covered this tarp on his face, and, like, a needle slowly went to his eye. It was very disturbing. I won't lie, but, yeah. And the aliens just didn't give a fuck, like, they were so stoic about it, just walking around like,
Yep, that's a human.
Got his
Stuck
ass,
this
got
up his ass.
Fucking God.
Taking notes.
I'm 27.
Jesus Christ.
And the worst part about the whole thing is that, you know, I'm going to Gommel. I might be doing some work at Gommel. When can I get this shit done so I can get it off of my forehead so, like, the camera doesn't zoom in on, like, 8K? Caught in fucking 4K in Canadaland. In my first time in Canadaland, by the way, having this.
Wait. Give some context of that. You're going to Canada for what reason?
Get on my level. It's a very huge super major put on by Event Matchup Gaming and Luminosity Gaming. They both sponsor my good friend Max Ketchum, who is a top Smash Brothers commentator. He puts on the event. I'm going with a bunch of friends because it's an amazing major. There's an after party on a boat and everything. I'm going for NASB because it's going to be running NASB. So that's part of the reason I'm going there. No confirmation if I'm commentating yet, but I probably will be because it's NASB and I'm the GOAT. So I will probably...
Man's out here.
Hey, Blackamore vouched for me to cast Genesis, but I'm not going to be going off of it. The point is, even when I get this done, I got to get a consultation. It's going to be like 3 tiny little stitches. It's probably going to be 3 little stitches
worst. There. Just say you got to do a fight. Just say you got to do a fight, and then someone punch you in the head, and then you got stitches.
I got dogged.
No, don't say, like, you know, to anyone, oh yeah, I got a cyst removed. Don't ever say that. Just lie. Just lie your ass off.
Why? It's
Make it seem more badass than it actually is.
Oh, I will say.
I got cut to my forehead.
I did have a gum procedure once where I had gum recession. That's for those of you who don't know what gum recession is. That's when literally, if you don't floss or brush twice a day, you get scurvy and your fucking gums.
Shit starts to grow on your teeth.
Your gum
and your gums.
I didn't get scurvy. Like I've never even had a cavity, which is amazing.
No, I'm just saying though, for anyone out there, like if you don't brush your teeth, like brush your teeth.
Yeah, and if you have a steady diet of fucking Reese's Pieces for lunch,
Doritos,
Kit Kats for dinners,
Doritos and Mountain Dew.
I don't drink that goat piss. But anyway, I had a gum recession, right? That is when your gum literally recedes and exposes more of your tooth.
Yes.
Which is not good. I had that, and so the procedure for that is they literally scrape some of the gum off of the roof of your mouth.
Oh, fuck.
And sew it to the spot where you need to have your tooth covered again. Literally sewn. So when I was in college, I had fucking stitches in my mouth.
What the fuck?
Granted, it looked metal as fuck. Like
Fair.
I would smile at people and be like, "Yahar, matey." Did I ever tell you the story of me old bones? It looked pretty cool, but if I licked it, the gauze would come off and it would fucking, my mouth would go on its fucking period, dude. It would
was
bleed
always the worst,
so
too.
much. It would bleed so much in the middle of a class, too. But now I'm gonna have that shit on my forehead for when I go to Canadaland. I'm hoping I can get it done sooner rather than later.
Just wear a hat.
No, I hate hats.
Like you're not gonna you're gonna have a choice.
Aang. Just play Aang, David. Why aren't
Yeah,
you
just play Aang. Just play a hat on your head, and you'll be fine.
I'm so anal about my hair. I get such bad hat hair when I wear a hat. I'm not doing that.
Wear a bandana.
This is Cubano greatness, my
Watch
friend.
you show up with a do-rag.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, yo, like, did David look like he declared a lifestyle change?"
Either that, or I'm just trying to go out with a bang. You know what I mean? Both literally and metaphorically trying to go out with a bang.
Everyone is literally just gonna ask and be talking around in the Discord. It's like, "Hey, yo, did y'all see David like at the event last night?" And he's like, everyone's like, "Yeah, like he was wearing a do-rag. It was fucking crazy. Like, bro, like looked like he just came from the streets." And then you finally break it to everyone, like after like a month. It's like, "Oh yeah, guys, remember that time I wore a do-rag at the event?" It's like, "Yeah, I had a cyst."
It's barely
and then it just seems way more boring.
At the very least, it's barely noticeable, but I want it gone because it's like part of my skin. It's like, how did this... Ugh. I don't like it.
Not to mention, like, it's just like this, like, buildup of disgusting shit on your fucking head.
It didn't feel like a protrusion. I knew this shit wasn't a zit from the get-go because I touched it and it moved with my skin. Like, I could feel it inside of my skin moving rather than just rather than like this is a protrusion on my skin like a zit is. You know what I mean? It's like it's the. So yeah, I'm not gonna show up with a do-rag and I'm not gonna play Aang. Not doing that.
Even though Aang be the best character and probably the best character of all time in the Western world. The fuck?
I can't wait till they nerf that bald fuck.
I mean, TVH.
Do you use the broken deck?
Oh no, I never got to. Cause
what the fuck you? Why are you telling me to play Aang and NASB 2 then?
I bought it. Remember, the story was that, okay, guys, for anyone who doesn't know, yeah, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And there was a bit of a Tier 0 format that we had like a good last year. We're kind of already in another Tier 0 format now. But the last one we had, I bought the cards and a good 2 weeks later, it ended up mostly getting limited and banned. So like I couldn't even fucking fully like actually use it. And I'm being a hypocrite over here because I'm telling David to just play the broken character because it's like, just fucking do it. Like, why not? Just have fun with it. Why not? Because eventually, yeah, they are gonna fucking nerf Aang. Like,
probably.
Most of the time, whenever like devs hear like something is way too broken or overpowered, it's just kind of like, okay, no, yeah, we got to.
NASB 2 has already changed so much. Like I mentioned to you, Azula was very broken when the game first dropped. They nerfed her. Reptar was fucking obnoxious. Oh my god.
Like what? That whole era, like
lived
that era,
to,
like kind of He's toned down now compared to then?
Very much so. Yes.
Okay.
Not as far as he should be, frankly. He lived to like 250% consistently, which was that's insane for a platform.
What's the percentage now?
I don't know. It varies. It just depends on the situation.
Well, like with 200, like it's probably less than 200.
Yeah,
right?
way less than 200. Yeah, okay, it depends on the matchup of the character and stuff. But like dying raw, that took forever. Danny was way more fucked up at the beginning, even better than he already is now. It changes a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll stick here suffering with my goth mommy as long as it takes.
I mean, you're the best emperor in the world.
Probably.
It's fine.
Debatable.
Like,
there's debates
who else
of that.
plays her except you?
Blazing Pasta, who is one of the best players in the world, plays her, but he doesn't main her. He only secondaries her. So so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Neutral, who we talked about when Sherry was on the podcast, doesn't play the fucking game. So I don't even care. There's Shiny, I guess. There's a bunch of other ones, but I got the wins. I got the smoke. The violence. Yeah. I'm gonna get farmed tonight. Anyway. Yeah. So why am I bringing up this, like, little, protrusion that has attached itself to my forehead? Watch, like, a little David sprout. Like, Nintoonist.
He's like, fuck hate Nintendo.
They're like, guys, this is... I have to,
wait.
hold up. I have to, like, introduce him to people. I'm like, guys, this is my cyst, Duvad. Say hi, Duvad. Hi, everybody. It's so swell to meet you. Like, he's just this annoying protrusion on my face that I can't get rid of.
I'm cheerful and racist.
What? Why is my cyst racist? Oh, because he's a
racist. That was a terrible joke. Also, by the way,
that's a great joke. The racist. I like it. That's a good fucking shitty Family Guy cutaway gag.
Continue with your story. I have to go to the bathroom like really bad.
No,
so
we'll just
guys, I will leave you for like a minute or two.
No,
I'll be right back.
We're just gonna cut it like my cyst. I'll wait for you to come back. You just dry humped the fucking air. Fuck. Fucking idiot bumped his foot on the way out. You were gone for like 3 minutes. Pretty normal.
I was washing my hands for 2 minutes. Wait, continue.
Shit polishy. So I bet you guys are wondering why I decided to have this gross conversation about this protrusion that is exacerbated itself on my cranium. My racist, yes. My dreams of being an e-girl are squandered, but it's also truly because I'm not creative enough. As the Twitch meta has evolved again.
In the span of 2 months.
I don't even know if I should say this now or if I should just like to say what's actually bringing this up for me, but every single time I think the e-girls can't get more creative or like find like a new way to push the
boundaries.
Push the boundary like of what they could get away with on Twitch and whatnot, and what new whole ass fucking rule or category that the website is going to create around them, basically, because that shit keeps happening. But this new one is nuts. I won't lie. Like two new ones actually. There's the first one, I should say. I forget what this fucking streamer's name. Was
she the one that I called a man?
No, the second one was Morg Pie. You're thinking of Morg Pie. Yeah, you're thinking of Morg Pie. No, this woman, I don't even remember her name. She had like a fucking 8K ass cam. Okay. And I don't think the ass cam is necessarily brand new, but like,
yeah, I'm sure.
This one was like, this had to have been the same one that they shot Godzilla -1 with, or something. Because like the quality was insane. You could literally, I'm not even kidding, I've seen it. You could see like minor scrapings of like hair follicles like around her like hole. It's amazing. And it's just the reason unfortunately you can't find footage of it anywhere. We're on YouTube right now, or if you're listening on mobile or on podcast platforms, there's no video at all. But even if there was, we can't even show that because we'd get banned.
Yes.
But as this woman, I think got a temp ban for it. I think I don't even remember. Who cares? She'll be back in 3 days.
So nothing happened to her.
Well, that's all of them. They
yeah,
Twitch
exactly. Is what I mean.
Twitch literally bans.
If that was a dude, I guarantee he probably would have been permabanned forever.
Or if it was on Kick, in which case they don't ban anybody. Even if you literally have sex with somebody in front of a child.
That bit of news as well.
Which literally happened. Yeah, that other one, that's fucking
In case
crazy.
if y'all aren't aware of that, that also did happen.
Yeah, one of Kick's top streamers literally fucked a woman in front of a kid on... Kick is so fucking disgusting. I can't even get over it. But anyway, the Egirls, right? This one was interesting because, she wore a very skimpy bikini, gameplay was just right in the top right corner. She might as well not have been playing a game. It's just there to be like, hey, I'm on Twitch. I'm playing a video game. This counts. Yeah, she just had an ass cam, but it left nothing to the imagination. You could literally see her asshole, which was amazing. And it's like, I think she got the temp ban for it, which is one thing of already pushing the boundary for that as ass cams. But then the second one is the one that really... The second one doesn't even make me mad. It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't make me sad.
You're just kind of impressed, aren't you?
I am. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't evoke the same usual reactions that Twitch creating entire categories around these women usually provides for me. Or even inspires me to talk about the two-sided coin of the e-girls and simps that depend on each other for sustenance and preying off each other like the fucking parasites they both are. But yeah. This one was interesting. We have the true innovator, who apparently stole it from, that other one, Asian Bunny. Asian Bunny claims that she invented the topless meta streaming and the other one, the ass cam and stuff. She's claiming all of it as if she patented, putting a camera in front of a body part on your body. As if fucking Brazzers has not been doing that for, decades. But regardless, patents
we digress.
Patents on ass cams aside. You're the first one who's taken a booty shot. That was a wild claim. Fucking Twitter's not a real place.
I was the first one to put camera in front of butt. That was me. I did that. No one could take credit except... This is the reason why, too, when people say, I did that. You know how how fucking stupid they sound when someone tries to, claim that they did something?
Yeah, unless you're Godzilla, after, shooting that laser in the movie, and it's
he told everyone I did that. When he fucking screamed into the heavens.
unless you're Godzilla.
Case in point, I guess what we're kind of getting at is also, again, we have no really hatred towards these thoughts. Really, if anything, the latest developments.
That's a funny sentence you just said.
What?
We have no hatred towards these thoughts. And it's just funny because you technically insulted them in the same sentence.
They are thoughts. They know they are. Come on, David.
Well, no, it's the same as that New York politician who said we did good work shutting down this men's shelter here. And we not shutting down a men's shelter. We denied access to them building a men's shelter here as we continue to push forward through mental health everywhere, which is a real sentence. Made me feel like I was in a South Park episode. But
I did not know that.
I don't know. Apparently it was next to a school and people were uncomfortable, which I can kind of understand, but at the same time, it's there are men who struggle too, and are homeless men or men who've been abused in relationships and stuff. They need a place too, as much as women's shelters. Probably not as much as women's shelters, but they need them too.
But going back, what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at too is just kind of again, as David said, before, I think, I don't know, if you are a simp, I guess fuck you, but if for anyone who's just kind of watching this, these developments and just kind of going it's a mix of scratching your head in confusion to just going wow, actually visibly impressed. Because at least the one who used her ass as a green screen for gameplay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm okay, for one, thought is a thought, sure, but it's just kind of you have to give credit where credit's due. It's that's it's hilariously creative. I mean, I know some people may be it's oh, I don't even actually, TBH, I haven't even heard anyone's reactions to it other than just kind of going wow, because it's wow, I never would have thought of that, that kind of wow. But for Twitch especially, it's because I still think Twitch, in a way, with all of its guidelines and rules that, the Twitch company like has tried to implement into it.
You mean when people get 3-day bans for things like this, but then people who drew nude pictures, even in a time when they were allowed to, are still on an indefinite ban? You mean that shit, like the inconsistencies?
It's the Wild West for one type of person. Thoughts? I think for a lot of anyone else who is just kind of like a normal Twitch streamer, whether it be like them being a gamer or like even just them drawing art, the platform's not for you guys anymore. I'm sorry to say, like, and it's not even like, oh, I'm saying this just because of this latest development, but Twitch has proven itself that it is not a welcoming platform for a lot of, like, let's say just not, I don't want to say run of the mill. That's actually kind of rude, but like kind of just like if you're just a normal streamer, if that makes sense. Like you guys don't do anything that's like promiscuous or anything like that. Like you just do what you do. Like you just play games or you just talk or you just draw, whatever. Like for a lot of you guys, like, on that platform, and even let's say if we, right now in our audience, if any of y'all are like Twitch streamers, and if you like, let's say, have like a certain bit of audience, like, I can't imagine like guys like Ludwig or whoever like watch this show, but like, or if anything, like, for anyone who does Twitch stream on this, on our podcast right now, like, for you guys, like, as far as like usually the, viewership that I'm assuming y'all get, it's like, obviously like you wish, of course, like, it's more, obviously, like, who doesn't, but like, but that's the thing though too, where like as far as like the platform is right now and kind of where like the company's sort of headed, like there was even a video, I think, guy, who's his name, Long Beach Griffey, it was just like kind of like saying about how like it was like kind of like a parody of like, he was like saying how like the Twitch CEO plus like the everyone, like as far as like the Twitch like executives are concerned, they know exactly where the money is, and it's Twitch thoughts. And like like the one guy comes in and he says like, oh sir, a Twitch thought was caught like fingering herself on camera. It's just like, yeah, well, what did we do? It's like,
make the artistic fingering category. That's what they fucking do.
We gave her a temp ban. It's like, oh, good, okay, she'll be back tomorrow, right? It's like, yes, sir, yeah. Like that's kind of like where their attitude is, like,
and it's
as far
still
as,
not as bad as
Twitch
Kick.
Is concerned.
It's still not as bad as Kick, where you can literally fuck on camera in front of literal children, and which is a fucking felony, and not get banned, which is insane. The degeneracy on that fucking platform. It's really a disgusting place. Still not as bad as Kick. No matter what Twitch does, I will never put them on the level of
It's not as bad as
Kick,
but I think it's also because Twitch is also systemic, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
and a little bit more of a pioneer in like the live streaming department, as they've been around way
and all
longer.
the bad shit that comes out of it usually is adopted by everyone else too. Because like as far as like Kick is concerned, like, Kick came after Twitch, and Kick came out as a response to Twitch, but
we're like, hey,
it's
all those annoying restrictions
we're
that
not
Twitch has.
We don't take your donations as much as Twitch does. Like, hey, join us. You
like
got
a bigger 90-10 split for revenue, and you can do whatever you want here. Don't worry. Oh, you can drink on stream. You want to smoke that dank?
You can gamble as well.
You can gamble and shit on here. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Backed up by crypto money, by the way.
Backed up by crypto money.
Twitch is like a shining example of like, because that's what I wanted to talk about, like you segueing into where the company is headed. That's what I wanted to talk about, right? Because like, the creativity is, actually, even before we talk about where it's headed, I just think it's funny as hell that like the ass cam or the ass green screen gameplay that Morkpie did, it's, there's a part of me that respects it more, right? Because at least you can see the fucking gameplay.
Yeah.
It's bigger than the streamer that, like, did the butthole cam is. Yeah. It's easier to watch the Fortnite on Morkpie's ass than it is on the stream that's about literal ass, which I think is very, very funny. But, point is that, like, if we're segueing off of, like, this, again, I'm not talking about, like, I'm not trying to segue this into the whole simp thing. We'll just see where the conversation goes. I'm not going to try to force anything. But I have a bit of a prediction for the future.
For Twitch, you mean? Or like for streaming in general?
For Twitch and the e-girls. And
okay.
I think it could possibly lead to the potential downfall of multiple platforms. Because...
Because advertisers.
Hot take, I don't know. People have been saying this for years, so I don't want to be that guy who's like going to make bold predictions. Twitch is still not profitable, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually
not. We all
not.
know that.
Amazon does not give them enough money. They're not going to give them enough money. There have been rumors for a while now that they're actually eventually, sometime this year, they're going to get rid of Twitch Prime, which was huge for the platform. If you don't know what Twitch Prime is, that's when you have an Amazon Prime membership. Every month you get a free Prime subscription. So you can subscribe to your favorite streamer without paying anything. Without paying anything more than you already do.
It's just on top of, like, your already made Prime membership, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So if you already have a Prime membership, then you get a Twitch Prime as well.
Twitch doesn't make as much money off of that as you might think, because they only take half of the split, or a different split nowadays. I don't know, they changed their rules.
Even
so
taking
often.
half the split, they still didn't make enough money.
Yeah, you know.
It didn't even matter.
If that money's going to Bezos, I don't know what you want to fucking... I don't know what's going to happen with that, or how that's going to work. But the point is, Twitch has been on like a bit of a steady decline for like a while. You know, the streaming wars...
We've all felt it too.
Yeah, we've all felt it. The streaming wars have been, you know, something out of left field. Twitch being the pioneer that it was, grew such a huge culture around it, which so many streamers, and even a lot of the top streamers, say is just dead now because of the fact that porn is literally overtaking that platform. And you go to the home feed, even for like people who have accounts like me, and they show up there. I'm not subscribed to you. Like, I didn't like follow you, and I get the e-thoughts on my homepage. It's crazy. YouTube is a whole different ballpark where they have like you know, better rules and stuff in place for it, and even like good, you know, good streaming, but it's not nowhere as good as Twitch. It's not where it's supposed to be yet. The chat functions are awful. Discoverability on YouTube is low-key just as bad, if not worse, than Twitch when it comes to streaming, because there's no tab for it. I still think YouTube should just make their own website, like a separate website for streaming, but whatever. And then Kick is obviously...
Like Ustream.
Yeah, like Ustream.
Just call it that.
Perfect. I love that. And then there's Kick, which we've already said is just a disgusting, lawless...
So the main big three are Twitch, YouTube, and Kick.
Them's the ones.
Kick being like the Nintendo Switch of the three. It just does its own fucking thing.
Not for better reasons like the Switch
No, not
does,
for better
though.
or for worse. It's just kind of like, it's just there. Everyone knows it's there, but like no one really like it's just doing its own thing, and like, you know, we just kind of acknowledge that it's there, and like
there's literally going to be like several more major Kick scandals like before the year is out.
Oh,
we all know this. We just know. But Twitch, I realized something, right? If Twitch goes down the shitter, you've noticed these in like these changes with websites, right? Tumblr. When Tumblr went down, because literally over fucking night, when they decided to remove porn from the platform, overnight the website, pretty much a hollow shell of its former self.
Yeah.
Where did all the crazy, I guess, hyper-liberal Tumblrettes and, you know, the porn artists and whatnot, where'd they all go? Twitter.com. They went to Twitter. And that's what sort of changed the culture with that. And do you know where the Twitch Egirls, where the Twitch thoughts, as I believe they get called nowadays, are gonna go? If Twitch goes down the shitter, for one, and if Elon fulfills his wishes and actually does successfully migrate Twitter into the content site that he wants it to be.
I'll be there then.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I can see
Kick.
that. Yeah.
Or Kick if Kick Kick doesn't go
They're
down.
not going to
but
YouTube.
I think Kick is gonna go down before Twitch does, if I'm being honest. Like
I think so too, but like out of those, especially like you mentioned the Elon's Twitter plus for Kick, like they're not going to YouTube for sure. Like I know that for a fucking fact. They're not going to YouTube.
That's
like,
the one where it's actually never gonna
way.
happen, because they actually have
YouTube actually like, I mean, for
unless
all we say
YouTube
about YouTube,
somehow passes it, like, because you're allowed to do nudity on YouTube if it actually is for educational purposes or some shit.
Yeah, but you're playing a game. That's not educational purposes.
If there's a whole fucking like swarm of like these ones that go to the platform like and claim like, oh, we're naked or half naked for educational purposes, I feel like it's not gonna work.
No, it's.
I don't know. YouTube like kind of.
YouTube actually, for one, like I know we give shit on it. Well, yeah, well, for one, it is profitable. It is arguably, I think, I think it is the most profitable like media platform like we've ever seen like in history. Really? Like I really think so. Just because like remember the website's origins? It was just a funny like, you know, haha, put funny videos like thing on website and watch and laugh. Like, it started off very humble, like, like a lot of other platforms that we know of. And eventually, like, the site just like exploded. Like, I mean, not to get into like a history lesson here, but like we all know the origins of YouTube. Like, for a lot of us there since the dawn of time when it came to YouTube, like we were there. A lot of us were there from the beginning. And like we all know like the website's like origins as far as like kind of where and how it started. And then now from what we know it as today, it being like a literal giant, like, as far as a platform is concerned, like they did get bought out by Google. So like, it's obviously like, it doesn't have like it's the identity that we kind of know it as from like way back when. But as far as like what it is now and like compared to how it started before, like I really feel like Google wouldn't have taken the chance and like bought it if it didn't make them money. And it makes them a fuck ton of money. Like the amount of the AdSense like through that whole website alone, and even just like we even saw like how they were so afraid of losing money because of ad block that they tried to fight ad block, and it's fucking going very poorly for them regardless.
I will say I did turn off my ad block on YouTube because that actually was what was making the website laggy as shit. They really did throttle internet speeds if you have an ad block on, just to like get people to like turn that shit off. I'll look up whatever the workarounds are when I can.
I never turned mine off. Like I never did.
I use YouTube too much. It became actually unusable on desktop for me, so I actually had to. They got me.
Again, that's fair. To each their own. Yeah. I'm just saying though, like as far as like, if we're arguing like how much money like the site generates, like, I'm okay. Again, guys, like think for anyone who actually is an expert on this, like, okay, like I'm not, whatever you may say, I won't disagree with you. But I personally do feel that YouTube and like at least Google in that sense, they wouldn't like, try to enforce all that shit if they didn't know that this website does make money. Yeah, go ahead.
In 2023, YouTube's advertising revenue accounted for 10.25% of Google's total revenue. So last year, the video platform's annual ad revenue, and I don't think all this money is pocketed to YouTube. A lot of this goes to the creators as well.
Yeah.
$31.5 billion.
Yeah. And Twitch is never going to make that kind of money.
It's not.
Ever.
No.
It's never going to make that money.
But the Egirls can't go to YouTube, like you said. I feel like YouTube not only doesn't need them, like Twitch does.
In fact, they don't want them.
You really think
They never wanted them to begin with.
There is porn that gets uploaded to YouTube's platform, but there's like so much content uploaded to YouTube every minute that they can't possibly have a human being moderate it.
Well, that's why, like, they have the algorithms and stuff just working in the background.
Stuff is gonna slip through the cracks every now and again.
Like, one nip slip is gonna be enough for you to just get, like, banned. Like, right off the bat right there. Like, YouTube...
That might be a strike, if anything.
But if anything, though, like, YouTube is way more sophisticated than fucking Twitch. It's
been around, like, astronomically longer, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, as far as even, like, kind of the systems that they have in place, that's shit that they literally refined over the years. Like, there's no way shit like that would ever even slip by them.
And that's why I think that they could dominate the streaming market if they just fix the shit that's wrong with YouTube streaming. I really feel like once they do that, YouTube's gonna have like a bigger monopoly on that than they could possibly have. Yeah, truly. Just fix the chat, fix the discoverability functionality. Like Dennis said, put it on its own fucking website. Oh my god, it's over. They could. I don't know why they haven't Thanos snapped Twitch and Kick yet.
I almost feel like one thing that I could see happening is that Google is like, if Amazon then decides that, okay, like we're gonna put Twitch up for sale, because I could see it happening where like eventually they'll just realize like this is just like a money sink and it's pointless to have. Then like, okay, like who wants it, right?
I feel like they'd shut it down before selling it.
No, I don't think so. Just because, like, as Amazon, far as like,
dude,
I think Amazon though, like, regardless of what people may say,
who would
like,
buy it?
Google would buy it.
You think Google would buy Twitch?
I think they would buy it, and I think they would really like revamp the shit out of it too. Because for one, when it comes to R&Ding like any new platform from the ground up, it's a lot of money. But if they can just take something that's already been established and just kind of like tweak it a few things here and there, that's way like that'll cost way less than you actually trying to build it from the ground up. Because for one, Google is also like kind of moving away from a lot of their other like sort of affiliates, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, YouTube is still YouTube, and like it's still gonna obviously make them money. But we've seen Google now really shifting towards like AI work, like really heavy now.
Yeah.
That I feel as if like, you know, if we just, let's say, have like, okay, YouTube as like this passive income that just like is generating us like 20 billion like every year. Fuck it, like then we'll just make another 20 billion off of Twitch then. Buy that shit out, like then we'll change it up, enforce our community guidelines. And I feel as if though, the moment that YouTube has their policies on that platform, the Twitch thoughts are not going to be there no more. And here's the thing though too, like I know people may even argue like, okay, yeah, like if the Twitch thoughts like thing leave, then like, okay, then the money goes as well, right? I think yes and no, just because like, okay, for the first like maybe year or so, once we see like that big like kind of just lack thereof Twitch thoughts like on the platform, a lot of the other like, you know, creators that like felt as if they were ostracized from that platform will return. And I feel as if, because like a lot of them left Twitch for multiple of reasons, but not really so much because of like the Twitch thoughts, more so just because like the platform itself was not really welcoming. Like, yeah, like maybe people will argue like, you know, there was that whole little bit of
Charlie
time when the platform did like start to like kind of change up a few things again, and like it was for the better for the most part. But again, like the platform itself is still hemorrhaging money like a fuck ton every goddamn year.
Started streaming on YouTube, man. I mean, he's still streaming on Twitch because he doesn't have enough of a reason to leave the platform quite yet. But even he started doing it because of like even he didn't like the Twitch changes. Then he started streaming on Twitch again as well when the new CEO took over, who's actually been doing a really good job, like trying to manage the sinking ship.
But but that's the thing. He's trying to patch a sinking ship. It's already sinking. It's just basically, I feel as if he's delaying it at this point.
We've been saying it for years, though, man. I don't know if something could come out of its ass, but until Twitch really becomes profitable and them just dumping so much money into these creators.
There's no way it's going to be profitable in the course of a year.
It's above my pay grade to know. And another big one, of course, is Ludwig, who famously, he was really the first huge one that left Twitch. Signed an exclusive deal with YouTube. Like, for how much? He was like the first really big one to do that. And it's an amazing thing. Because, like, because it's like, where are they going to go, right? Because I've said it before when the last time we had Evan on.
It's right there.
Probably. Yeah, because the last time I had Evan on the show, right? Last time we had Evan on the show is when we were talking about this, because that's when the Morgue Pie shit went down. The first stuff where they were doing the topless meta and stuff. Before the innovator, there's not even shitting on her. Before the innovator, she actually became with the green screen ass cam. Funny as hell, honestly. If I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It honestly is.
It actually is fucking hilarious.
I kind of respect it more than the booty hole cam, if I'm being honest, because like at least the ass green screen is funny.
No, that's creative though. The green screen ass cam,
you can actually see the game.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also a good thing that her ass is actually like fairly big, because if it was like a fucking like washboard ass, like fucking ass, then like
like the last one, like they say don't hate the player, hate the game. It's like, no, I'm gonna hate both.
I'll do both. How about that? Yeah, like literally. Like I'm that kind of person too.
Strawberry Tabby, who was the e-girl who did the 8K ass cam thing where she was just like flexing her butthole and like you would literally see inside it and shit.
Yeah, we all love that.
Yeah.
Flexing booty holes.
No, we do. It's just the whole discussion of it belonging on Twitch and whatnot, and then they're like, oh, kids are gonna find it anyway. But then there's 13-year-olds, like they don't verify you if you're 13 and stuff like that. All that
they
whole
literally
conversation.
say fuck them kids. They could give a fuck.
Yeah. At least, and again, the thing that makes Twitch better is that at least it's still not literally fuck them kids.
Also, thoughts have no morals. They don't, man. They could give a fuck about them kids, man. They could give a fuck.
I can vouch for the type of women who would do that, because one woman who actually did have some pretty raunchy clips of her getting her pussy pounded by one of those, like, automatic dildo machines.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know who it was?
Oh. Oh, fuck.
And she showed me the clip and everything. The girl I dated, this very, very low point in my life.
You went to a dive bar, fellas.
And I got one of those.
That's a pretty low point.
And I got one of those goddess aura only women that I picked up, and all sorts of things. She made bank off of it for a little bit. She made some good money. Good for you.
Sure, but
good for you.
You know.
I mean, still, I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, point is
no, but it's just like how people say, like, she, she made some good money off of that and everything. Like, like, it's, like, I don't think anyone's really impressed by, like, people making money anymore.
I'm just trying to be a decent person and give her the benefit of the doubt, because I have actual fucking reasons. You know me, I have actual reasons.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, go guys, listen.
You
but
should have
also,
been grateful I let you suck my titties. You should have been grateful.
as quoted by her, by the
As
way,
quoted.
guys. So, but
Anyway,
okay.
point
Yeah,
is that, you know, they can't move. Maybe they would move to Kick, because the thing is they can't move to, like, there's the whole argument of, like, why don't they do it on, like, you know, cam girl sites and stuff. This is what we talked about when we had Evan on the show. They don't do
they're terrible.
No, it's not even not even just because they're terrible or the websites are virusy, malware or whatever. It's because they don't stick out on that site. You're a girl, or like you're a hot woman and you're going on a cam girl site. You are a fucking strand of seaweed in the ocean, or like a speck of sand, like on the fucking beach. There's a million of you on my foot at the same time. It doesn't matter. The sand is hot. I want to get off of it and at least put my flip flops on and do something else. And the thing is, on Twitch, that's different. They were like the anomaly for a bit, because they're doing it on the site where they're quote unquote not supposed to, and more importantly, they're doing it on a site where people can donate money to them directly, and they can develop parasocial relationships with these very, very desperate men.
It's not really like such a toxic ass relationship.
Exactly, and that toxic relationship doesn't exist necessarily as badly on the cam sites. On the cam sites, people know what they're there for. It's the means to an end. It's a totally different ballpark. It's depraved. It's nothing new. It's just, it's whatever, right? People go there as a means to an end. Same as jacking off to porn. You don't have a relationship with the porn star. If you're trying to get too attached to her, it's not healthy. It's a means to an end just for men to get their nut out. That's why there's so many women who don't mind that their men watch porn, because they know they don't love these women. They don't give a shit. It's just them, like, getting their nut out. You know,
it's a means to an end.
If they can't fuck, it's a means to an end. Twitch girls is not a means to an end with the relationship with the simps. You know, they could say, like, get your bag, sis, this is what it's all about, and the parasocial relationships that develop are the men's fault, which they very much are. That's a part in it.
They're half at fault. They always are.
Exactly, but they're half at fault as well, because you're enabling it, and you're preying on their insecurities and their loneliness, and taking them further away from the thing that they very much desire, and, like, taking them away from the things they need to do to actually get to that place. And the Twitch girls know that, because without that parasocial relationship, they don't profit. It's literally their fucking business model. Like, they say these parasocial relationships are so bad, and they are, but they probably want them. Not to speak for all of them.
Because it keeps them afloat.
Because it keeps them afloat. Not to speak for all of them. I'm sure some of them are very disturbed by how, like, cringy or, like, desperate some of those men could get, but they are their bottom dollar. They are the base model. Without them, you don't have each other. Shoutouts to Elisa, man. Like, you know, my ex-girlfriend, you know, she was the one who said it first. E-girls and simps are two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely.
They cannot exist without each other. They're like a very toxic version of yin and yang. Like, just like swimming around each other. That's pretty much what they are.
Because everyone else that looks at them is also, like, kind of just repulsed. Yeah. Like, anytime I, like, you know, see, like, shit like that, like, you know, it's... I mean, people may even chalk it up to, like, kind of just being plugged into the internet for way too long. But, like, you know, when it comes to, like, seeing that relationship, like, actually, like, in the wild, it's kind of fucking gross. It really is. Like, it's fucking disgusting. Like, seeing
like,
it.
even this girl that I dated, that I picked up at the dive bar, was very into, like, the dom, like, sub dynamic and tried to make me her sub. And beyond the fact that I very much wasn't into that, I realized, fuck, if I was a simp, if I had no self-respect for myself, every bit of gaslighting that woman did to me, every, like, little, like, tiny
would
toxic
buy into
tendency,
it,
I would have bought into it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is the kind of woman that she preys on? This is the woman that, like, actually gets paid to give dating advice on Instagram? My God.
Or Reddit.
It's like, and it made me think, you know, like, in a way, I kind of dated one of those types of women, basically. The goddess aura only vibes who think they can do no wrong just because, like, they have some things about them that are objectively attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, beyond, you know, the whole notion of, like, how it, like, makes some, like, gives some woman the Pygmalion effect and makes them think they're so hot that they can do pretty much whatever they want or what have you, or just comes into that kind of cycle, which...
It's blowing hot air up their ass.
Blowing hot air. The reason we're bringing up them, like, not being able to go to the campsites is because, you know, the fucked up thing about it is that they want to be on Twitch because they have a much wider net there of, like, actually getting noticed, getting the money, developing the parasocial or weird relationships that get them that shit in the first place.
And
that
fuck
doesn't
the kids.
happen. And fuck the kid. That doesn't happen on the campsites, you know what I mean? That's why, you know, all these new categories exist on Twitch and whatnot. It's deliberate for platforms like this. So, the reason I'm bringing that up is that if Twitch goes down the shitter, everyone's like, oh,
and it will.
Back to the campsite, whatever. Like, then no, that's why I'm wanting to bring up the conversation of where are they going to go after that. That's why I brought up Twitter. That's why I brought up Kick and whatnot. That's talking to myself a little bit in circles at this point, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's on Twitch, it's deliberate because I think they want to prey on people like that, and you know, they don't have that little checkbox that some of those cam sites have or whatever. You know, the verification on Twitch, that's the whole problem with it, is that you don't have to age verify whether you are actually 13 or not, or like that. So there are legitimate minors on the site who are seeing that. But there are also minors who look up porn. I was 12 years old and I Googled big boobs and whatnot. And I saw actual naked women and I saw people actually having sex. But that's healthier because sex is natural. And seeing just, if it, like a young kid watches normal porn,
because it's detached. That's the thing. It's just
detached,
watching a clip on you, like on a porn. That's all it is. There's no attachment at all to it.
That's healthy, it's natural, and it's beautiful. Like a young boy, I found my father's
That's
Playboy.
educational, guys.
Yeah. And yeah, there's probably shit in the Playboy that he shouldn't see if it gets too depraved. But point is, when he sees it for the first time, he's like, whoa. It's like he's becoming a man. He's developing his sexuality.
Yeah.
With the Twitch girls, there's nothing about developing like in healthy sexuality. You're developing an unhealthy relationship and an unrealistic, and even more unrealistic portrayal or idea of women than you might even get from a lot of porn. Now, granted, there's a lot of unrealistic ass porn out there too. Don't get me started
Help me,
on
step
that,
bro.
Yeah. That's a whole different ballpark. The fact that porn is, I swear to God, they're trying to normalize incest. I swear to God they are. I think the step thing I think they only put the step thing because they legally have to. I'm dead serious.
Oh yeah.
That's just something that I believe in my heart of hearts. But at least with porn, when a young boy discovering normal porn, it's normal. When a young boy sees a naked woman online, he's becoming a man and like discovering like the little neurons in his like brain that activate the dopamine and make his pee-pee go up when he sees naked lady, and discovering what he likes about them and whatnot. When the young kid runs into a Twitch girl who says, you know, donate $5 for me to do this or take this off or what have you, he's learning to fucking like
to be a simp.
He's learning to just keep giving like, you know, women money, and that's what love is.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that how perversive it is too, because
like
it's
exactly.
Like,
ironically enough, even though they're not actually having sex, it's way more perverted than a lot of actual porn.
Ain't it low-key kind of pedophilia?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's part of the reason I think
like
that's why I think the e-girls want to stream on Twitch and these other websites, because on these other websites you have to be 18.
Yeah.
On Twitch, I think it's low-key preying on minors, but the reason that argument
is too, honestly.
It is, but I think the argument is kind of invalid because on porn there's no ID verification. It's the same. It's the same fucking checkbox. Are you 18? Yes.
Okay, no.
I was 12 years old and I went to the porn sites and I checked off that I was 18.
There is verification. It's just basically it's fucking pointless, is what we're saying. Like, because like, you know, as far as compliance goes as well, like, you know, they have to put that up there. They have.
And people aren't gonna want that if that becomes a thing. Oh, scan your driver's license and like your computer's new scanner to verify how old you are. That's not gonna work. People aren't going to want to do that or give up that kind of information.
No, there was that one state that tried to validate if you want, like if you're old
Pornhub's
enough.
offline in Texas right now.
Oh, it's in Texas. Oh, okay.
No, there's other states tried to do it as well. Pornhub's offline in Texas right now. But
that's
you know,
crazy.
That's where all like the evangelical like, you know, politicians are. Were like, and if you watch that
even
devil's
though they're
videos
the ones that watch it too.
Like
that's some hypocrisy right there, bro.
The literal senator from that fucking state liked porn on his Twitter, and we saw what he's into by doing that. And he probably forefronted the fucking bill. We are living in a South Park episode, Dennis.
We really are. Like, no joke, we really are. And it's, like, hilarious and scary.
And if you watch the devil's videos on these computer devices, you will get bitch smacked by the Lord. Yes, you will. Praise Jesus. Shout out to my girl Cody Vore, who's very outspoken on, you know, like the evangelicals and shit who want to like ban porn and realizes it's normal to like expose kids to a certain level of like sex education. And that maybe not telling them about this properly was messing them up as well. But they also lean a little too hard in the other direction sometimes, I think, where like they feel like kids can get exposed to all sorts of other things. But I still think they'll be fine. I don't know. That's why sex education is important.
Why can't kids just be exposed to like stickball and kickball or some shit like it?
They're still exposed to stickball and kickball.
No, but it's just like the whole discussion too nowadays, especially with like the way this country does sex education, is so fucked that like
they just get the gym teacher to do it.
No, not even that.
Hire nobody else.
no, not even that. Like bring in the skeleton and says, "This is your PP."
I will never forget.
Well, my point being is that as far as like the way like we conduct that education for kids, again, I repeat, it's fucked. It's been fucked for years now at this point, and like
no pun intended.
And like the way that a lot of these kids like sort of like get that education like actually is for better or for worse, it's on the internet, going to porn sites and like just watching it and whacking off, and then like, oh my god, I love women, or like if they find out that they're into dudes, like, oh, I love men, like whatever. But like that's the thing though, like the institution that we have in place to teach this shit is unable to do so. And what I'm getting at too now is that like the internet, again, to repeat, is where these kids are getting their education from, unfortunately. Like I know maybe like maybe there are some teachers out there like that maybe disagree, like if any of y'all are teachers out there and like in our audience, but like as far as like that is concerned, like this country has failed at teaching sex education. It's absolutely failed. And as far as even like where like a lot of like the younger minds that kind of are when it comes to like like sex in general, like obviously back in the day, like it was very much like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, like it was very much like the traditional like sort of like men fuck women and then women fuck men, like just kind of saying as if it's just absolutes like that. But obviously like now we know of like cucking and like other shit like that, and like all the other like stuff in between. And obviously like kids, like I wouldn't even say kids, but like obviously people should be educated in that a bit. But at the same time, it's just kind of like I don't know, people for some reason, especially in this country specifically, like in America, I don't know what it is, but like people love to say that like America doesn't emphasize like sex, or they try not to, like from the powers that be, like they try not to like emphasize it too much, but it really does emphasize it a lot more than they fucking let on. Like
we are simultaneously the most sex obsessed and like sexually repressed culture in the Western world.
Yeah, David put it like the best, like probably better than I could have. Like thing, literally, like we, as far as like where we're at now, and just considering how like just how hypersexualized like at least like sex is. Like I mean, I guess I could have put that better, but like as far as like how much like just kind of like fucking like just what do you call it, like how much emphasis we put on it nowadays, like in our modern era, like in 2024, like it's obviously like I think anyone could argue like it's way more than it ever was like way back when. Like I'm not even talking about like the sexual revolution and shit like way back when either. Like I think it's like at this point in time, it's actually like really scary as to where it is. Like the very fact that like back then like we used to just kind of go like, oh, you can't read Playboy and stuff, and like just classically, traditionally speaking, like we would tell our kids, like we would tell kids like, oh, like or they adults told us as kids like, oh, like you can't watch that or you can't look at that, that's dirty, it's nasty, blah blah blah, and everything like that now. And now it's almost to the point where like a lot of this shit is almost like borderline normalized, but it's also not. Like there's still like obviously that red tape that I think like porn and like sex in that sort of category could never cross ever, just because at least the powers that be like that we have in place, like they would just never be like mainstream. And I kind of don't want it to either, thank God. Like I honestly like obviously the US government's failed us multiple times in the past, but like if the day ever comes where like they basically normalize and legalize that shit, I'm actually gonna be like kind of fairly disappointed. Not because like, oh, like as far as like, because like as far as like Twitch goes and like all the things that we know about it, like it being like just basically another porn site. It's basically what it is, like in my opinion. Like as far as like what the direction of that site is going, a lot of those girls could probably go on Pornhub, but they won't make nearly as enough money, like as much money as they would be going on Twitch. So like therefore, like as far as like where their bottom dollar is, okay, of course it's Twitch. But what I was getting at too, like with that whole scenario of like, let's say like, oh, like they just kind of normalize this, like, you know, as like, you know, as if it's just kind of like a normal everyday thing. Like I kind of would be against it in the sense that like, you know, there's definitely a lot more care you have to put into that when it comes to teaching kids, especially about this whole thing. I mean, us as adults, it's like, okay, one could even argue like, well, you're adults. You make your own decisions. You know what the fuck you're doing. At least I like to think a lot of us do. You know, I give you know, us a little more credit than I probably should maybe. But like, you know, we're grown adults. We make our own decisions, and like informed or not. But like, you know, as far as like, let's say when it comes to kids and shit with all of this, like where I stand on it is just kind of like they should be aware. But again, like there is like just that really like extreme care you have to have with it because of how impressionable kids are and everything. And like, you know, back in the day, especially, like, you know, a lot of like, I kind of do care for the kids, like, you know, nowadays and kind of where they're headed, like in as far as their generation goes, because like, you know, even like dating culture, like nowadays is so fucked, like low key, it's pretty fucked, like it's really bad. Like, you know, I can't help but feel for them, like, you know, when the day comes that they're just gonna try to find love out there. Because like, I'm not saying like, okay, all the girls in the world are gonna become Twitch slots and shit, like obviously not talking about that. But like, you know, as far as like, you know, just kind of, we're like kind of, sounds so fucking like low-key like red-pilled and shit. But like, I think we're normalizing a lot of this shit way too much. And there's gotta be like a fucking line that like, we just kind of like draw a line in the sand and just say like, nothing past this anymore. Because like, you know, the more we just try to like continue to normalize a lot of this shit and like kind of just say like, oh, it's just like a thing we do over here. Like, you know, that's like a really bad sign of like just kind of where values are concerned are going from that point on. Because like, you know, I mean, people always made fun of the whole like, oh, what about the children and shit? And even to a certain extent, I'm like, ah, fuck them kids, you know? But like, at least as far as like this is concerned, like, and even just kind of like what it teaches them, like perversely is what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, okay, yeah, it's like right then and there in their face, but it's like, this is shit that's being imprinted in them. Like, that's how like kids learn. It's like so just strong, at least as far as like that kind of like learning is concerned. Yeah. And like it almost never goes away either. Like, you know, this is how that kid's gonna grow up. Like, God forbid.
There was a PSA that you should watch in that notion that was made by a bunch of porn stars. Mm-hmm. Like a video public service announcement, right? And it's all the porn stars, they're all in robes. There were some of the guys in their underwear, like running around, like with a bunch of film camera sets everywhere. Like, oh, they're filming porn, basically. Yeah. Like, it like lets them know what it is. And all it is a bunch of different juxtaposed shots of different porn stars. Actual porn stars, by the way, who signed up to do this PSA, talking to the camera about sex education. And why sex education is important. This is why you have to teach your kids this, and that. And it just completely, like, counter-juxtaposed with the fact that they were saying all this, like, positive sex education shit while
and they're porn stars.
While on a fucking porn set, too.
Yeah.
Like, which is clearly what it is. And then they end the PSA with, talk to your kids about sex, or they're gonna learn it from us. And I watched that PSA, and I was like, damn. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
That was actually a really good
because again,
public. You know, no, it was like Lisa Ann. I think Brandy Love was in there. Like a bunch of actual porn stars who did this PSA and signed what to do. And I'm like, that really that kind of sent the message loud and clear. That hit that shit home.
That also supports like what I was saying though too. Like the country itself, and I even think like parents to a certain extent, like, you know, they failed. They failed for a long time when it came to this shit. Like, it's so bad now that, like, that's the thing. Their kids are getting education from the internet. The very thing that even Brandy Love and Lisa Ann all said that was going to happen. If you don't teach it, either me or that ethod now, like, you know, it's like that's the new person on the block, that ethod is going to teach them.
Which I firmly believe is less healthier than porn.
Fuck yeah. Because, again, porn is attached.
Yeah. Like, I'm not the best with women myself. I've dated, like, my fair amount of women. I've fucked my fair amount of women. But I have Asperger's. I can be a little awkward from time to time. It takes me a bit of nerve to go up and talk to a girl sometimes and shit. Yeah. But I like to think I'm pretty well adjusted, and I grew up on a lot of porn and shit. I didn't grow up on e-girls though, like thinking like, you know, like it has to be this constant like appeasing and that this is the goddess and I have to give them this and I am nothing and I have to just keep giving them my money to like to slightly increase my percentage chance on the Mario Kart roulette wheel that they're gonna land on. That's gonna my face is gonna land on eventually and they'll fuck me. It teaches them a different message, but I like to think in my heart of heart, you know, things come full circle and that the kids are all right. Because you know, we're talking about this as if every kid is like watching these fucking or watching these women, or that every kid like gets.
We're just talking about the ones that are. Yeah, they're in trouble. They need help.
And it
is what we're saying.
It could be a bit of a generational thing, but that leads to the whole discussion of how social media is changing the world and how that reflects like to the current state of late stage capitalism, where these women have this business model as well as just the fact that, you know, people can monetize all sorts of things that shouldn't be. But that's a whole different discussion that we're already an hour into and that we got to start rendering this episode before the NASB bracket that I'm playing in tonight. So we hope you guys enjoyed what we had to listen to right here and our concluding
Sorry
thoughts.
if it sounded preachy towards the end, but like, you know, I just had to go off of it because like,
don't be sorry at all.
Like as just like, you know, just a non-simp, like seeing all this shit, it's revolting. It's disgusting. It fucking makes me want to vomit. And like, I really despise like just the way things are headed nowadays. And like, and you know, I'm not like one to say like, oh, think of the children and shit like that. But in this case, maybe kinda, just because
think of the
like,
grown-ass men who are doing this shit. Think of the children.
Yeah, well, I know.
Fuck
That's
them
what I'm saying.
Kids, fuck them kids. Fuck
what I'm getting
kids.
at though, just is like, again, like the very fact that this country failed in educating like all these kids on this shit is the reason why like I personally feel like this whole simp problem is just so fucking bad nowadays. And I think like if we want to have any chance of unfucking it, like they just gotta be educated. Like they just gotta learn like from somewhere or someone. Maybe it could be Lisa Ann, I don't fucking know. But like it just has to like be learned from somewhere.
I don't
because
think
again,
Lisa
the country's
Ann
not
is the
gonna do
best
it.
example. She's out here getting arrested at comedian shows and shit, but like, I don't think she's necessarily the best role model either.
I know, but you know what I'm saying though. Like, you know, it's just like they gotta learn it from somewhere, and the very fact that it is from like a person like Lisa Ann is like just kind of is proof of where the fucking values I feel like is where it's at nowadays. Like, you know, family really should be the ones to teach you about this. Like, and why isn't it? Is what I'm saying. I'm saying that rhetorically.
The kids are all right.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. That's crazy. They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Well, yeah, guys, this was today's episode. Here's our plugs. If you are into NASB, go catch David get bodied by his fucking round of Swiss.
Yeah, you can go. They're not Swiss. They're double bracketed. You.
Oh
goon.
shit, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, we'll watch him get bodied in his double brackets. Oh, I thought that was a previous tournament. I didn't know it was gonna be like the same format.
No, that was last night.
Okay, my bad. So yeah, go see him get bodied in his double brackets and like you know, just cheer him on and also curse him out, whatever, do the whole shebang as he deserves if he's not playing well. But you know, guys, you could catch us on Nintoonist.com/YouTube. I said,
you just shut up. Just shut up. You failed this outro. You failed. You failed harder than the country taught us sex education. You fucking failed, Dennis. Fuck you. Shut up. You can check this out at youtube.com/Nintoonist.
Why you mad, bro? Why you mad, bro?
Because you're a fucking
I didn't
idiot.
mean
That's
to make
why.
you mad. Yo, my bad, bro.
No, I'm gonna give you another chance. Yo, do that.
I
Do
don't think
that
I
outro.
want it.
All right, fine.
I don't think I want it.
YouTube.com/Nintoonist. So I know most of you listen. Go ahead, leave a like on the video. Comment down below
guys,
what
he
you
was
think
so
of all
mad.
this dumb shit that we talked about.
He was so
as well
mad,
as-
guys.
I was pretty mad. As well, I was madder than hockey was during the winners final set. Now, you could also subscribe. That would be really good. That would help us out a lot. And if you listen on mobile platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, you can follow us there. And especially on Spotify, if you leave us a 5-star review, it helps with our SEO quite a lot and helps our podcast get discovered. We appreciate the additional love you guys have been giving us every single week. It really means a lot to us and whatnot. Even when you guys stick around when me and Dennis get a little too red pilly, though I think there's a lot of you that like that shit. Sick fucks. And, yeah. We love you. We hope you enjoyed this. Tune in next week where we will most likely be having Charge and Chuck on the podcast. who is another prominent NASB TO and player who hosted the first event that I ever entered for NASB. So he was my gateway drug. So shoutouts to Chuck. We love y'all. We will see you all next week. We gotta start rendering this episode right now if I'm gonna make this bracket. Kisses.
Have a great weekend, y'all.
Here are your parasocial kisses, like that you can
send
tell
us money.
Wow.
Send us money because we said so.
Send us money because I told you to.
Because you told me to. Sends like his life savings to
That's basically the whole e-girl.
That's the whole relationship.
That's the whole e-girl simp dynamic. Give me money because I told you to. Because you told me to.
Hey, you little piggies. If you're a little piggy, stop. Stop being a piggy.